In this episode, I interviewed Diana Avila. She's one of the artists included in my Take Pressure Museum Brooklyn's curations in Williamsburg Hotel last year in December. Her story is extraordinary. She's going to share a lot of software she used and how she used the AI generative app to help her. Welcome, Diana. I met Diana at the Take Pressure Museum Brooklyn show. She's one of the artists participate, and I realized her art is a kind of you can see the different universe. So I have a lot of curiosity, especially she's one of the artists. She has this so-called savant syndrome. Please introduce yourself. You can talk about your story. That
I would love to. My name is Diana, and I am the subject and co-author of a book called Soldier Sister Savant. And that takes different parts of my life and my art gift, which came to me suddenly, dramatically in 2017 out of the blue, Giovanna. I mean, I live in Osprey, Florida, enjoying the palm trees and living near the Gulf Coast. But I lived in New York before Florida. So I started my artist journey as a visual artist in 2017. Before that time, no experience, no desire, no ideas about art critique or art concepts. I was a musician, so I came from that sector of art, but really it all came to me. And I'm also what's called a synesthesia, which means that from a neurological standpoint, my perceptions, senses can cross. So I have two types of synesthesia. Sound causes colors, and then touch and temperature causes sound. It's a trip. But that's a lot of the inspiration for my art, which comes suddenly and I must create it. It's nuts.
So is it based on the music you hear? Can you talk about a little bit more? Because it somehow that I can see these waves. It's just like...
Oh, the art?
Yes.
So do we want to look at some art?
Please.
So in 2017, things started very basically. I mean, totally different than what I do now. But my first bit of art was boomerangs and blobs. So I had these shapes and colors coming through my mind's eye, and I had to find a way to create them. And I didn't have a toolbox of, digital creation tools, but I was a computer person. I was an IT person. And did website development,
Oh, I see.
Lots of coding. So this is one of my websites. That helps me save a lot when I can create my own. But the first pieces are very abstract-y, moving, simple tools at the time. Well, for me, I was using a lot of Adobe Illustrator, even though I had never used it before. So very basic flowing in 2017. And since that time, I've created over 1,200 pieces. So the inspiration does not...
Do you use Illustrator, draw these line, or it's just like an AI drawing?
No, I do a combination. So here it was me, and now I do combination AI. Let's go to some of that art. Oh, AI. Don't they look like little intestines, made?
Yeah, it looks like how your brains work with these.
Yeah, I know. And there's more, AI generated.
But I mean, like, did you have a brain surgery? Because I read a little bit about that. I learned a little bit more from your blog. It was like a brain surgery. Like how did you get the brain damage?
Let me explain. My Savant, a shameless plug for my book. But I had a motorcycle accident while I was in the military, 1984, long time ago. Well, when I was in the military, I was exposed to toxins, and I developed multiple sclerosis, and I had a traumatic brain injury from a motorcycle accident where I banged my head, and left side lesion, the right side starts to regenerate and make up. And that's where art comes from. You know, I'm very left-brained, but now the art comes right-brained. It was suddenly like lightning. I'd never had any experience. This is very highly technical AI stuff, but let me show you.
I love it. You know, I just love your art. I showed in the Brooklyn, the Williamsburg hotel. People asked me like, who's the artist, and I just explained it. Yeah, and I made a girl. She's really into psychedelic. That she said, "Oh, this is
that's so psychedelic."
I say, "Well, I don't think this artist is using any mushroom."
No, not mushrooms, but I can tell you that therapeutic cannabis, can help my journey a little bit. Because of multiple sclerosis, I use medical cannabis. So if I'm using medical cannabis and I'm creating in the middle of the night, it's going to be, it might have that. But no, I do not use psychedelics per se, but it feels psychedelic. So
I know exactly what you mean.
You know.
I know because like my art, people always related to psychedelic, a trend. I don't use any of these.
I am drawn to color in a big way. So, I mean, when I see colors in motion, I have to create. So that's one of my here's a series I did that I actually did on clothing, some of them on clothing. These started as fractals, and I worked through, and it felt very flight. You know, I felt aviation. I felt the movement. I felt a little bit of kind of a retro feel or antique, you know, so I added some coloring and different effects, all digital, you know, but probably some of the coolest are the abstracts and then the fractal manipulations where now you're getting into psychedelic and otherworldly because I've lost my screen. There it is. Can you see my screen?
No, not right now. Maybe you need to share that again.
Yes, I'm sorry. There. So you missed seeing it. I apologize. So fractal manipulations. These are really kind of out of this world. They work with formulas and scripts, but they're big pieces of art. And I've animated a lot of these and made them into NFTs.
Okay. You use any 2D animation tool or apps?
I do it. I use the Adobe Cloud. So I will use After Effects sometimes. I will use InDesign. I use the iPad Pro I think I've got over 100 different programs that go between the iPad, the desktop, web-based. I can't keep track. And the thing is, I will use one program on an iPad, send it to my iMac, do something else in another program, send it back to my iPad, use another program, and it can go back and forth, 6 or 7 times. And I've had people ask me, can I pay you to teach me how to create art like you do? And no, because I don't know how I do it. A lot of the times, that's the savant thing, is that the Dr. Treffert, who is the international known scientist, it's amazing. He says that savants know things that they never learned. And that's the perfect way to sum it up. It comes to me, I learn it, and I'm able to take a piece of software and just kind of intuitively work my way through it enough to do what I need it to do. So that's really, and a lot of these go into motion very well. Yeah. Such different. And, people say, okay, so you make digital art, you make a fractal. What can I do with it? So I find printing on metal, so momentum on a glossy metal in like a 60 by 60, beautiful. And then I do a textured metal, which is a neat way to print. I do acrylic, which is like plexiglass. I'll do metallic paper between pieces of plexiglass. And then I will print on metallic paper and metallic canvases. It's fun, but then I do clothing too. Did you see something?
By the way, this is really nice.
Thank you. Yeah, they're made in Montreal, and I own a bunch. I own a lot of them. I love the dresses that are reversible, and then I will wear a kimono over. So I've got all kinds of art. It's so much art that it's hard to keep track of. And people will say, oh, I like that one or this one, So this is my hand at 3D as I'm learning it. So I took my generative art and I put them on cans. And I have them on, I call them crypto pop cans. I have them as a small collection on OpenSea. And somebody has bought one, maybe I've sold two. But they go with, I thought that they would be a good asset within video games. That's how I'm, here's a 3D object you can add to your video game. But it would also be, I can't really do the 3D side here, but let me go to Foundation. Keys. I've got a nice collector base on Foundation.
Wow.
That I've sold. So here's like a pop can. You can do 3D, but look, they can actually, purchase, and they get the GLB file and they can embed it. Even, I know you deal with NFTs, and have people bought your NFTs and put them in virtual environments? Because that's what I'm experiencing now, is that.
Yeah. I have a couple collectors. They brought my NFT. They have a Decentraland. They have a Sandbox.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and also there's a couple of metaverse funders. They show me. So that's how they play my NFT. I closed one VR company last year because I don't have a good experience with partners. Some problem, but I still want to explore more about VR, metaverse, VR, AR.
I had one AR piece on Foundation, but this is like, this is Kuntz Matrix.
Yeah, this is what take pressure needs in you.
So I've put my NFTs here. That's another way, for people to take a look.
Oh, I love this piece.
And then I go right into, you can go into the moving NFTs in the other room if you can get your way through the wall. It's hard when we're working with embedded within embedded.
I have a question. Like when you get started, like how did you answer people's question if they ask you, like, what is your artist experience? Did you just tell them that, oh, I accidentally got these?
Yeah, accidental artist. Yeah. I've had to. I can't lie. I can't.
How did you get started from the very beginning?
At the very beginning, it was, I live in a very artistic town, Sarasota, Florida, which has art galleries and art centers. And everybody's an artist and a realtor, it seems like everybody, artists and realtors. I got started by creating and then kind of looking at other artists in the community. What are they doing? Well, there's these things called juried art shows. And let me just talk a little bit. Juried art shows. And I was like, what is that? I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what artists do. I taught myself, as I do many things. I hit the books, figured out how to be an artist. And that's where Texpressionism kind of came in and provided a home. Because people would say, digital art, that's not real art. Well, I would say it is real art.
I know. This is why we love Texpressionism. That most of we don't know, like we don't have any group we can fit in.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why when the very first time I heard this term, Texpressionism, that's me. You too.
It is. And I remember meeting you on one of the first ones. I've only been in probably a half dozen salons because I've either got a doctor's appointment or I'm just too, I just can't. But I remember meeting you and you were getting involved you were in digital art and getting involved in NFTs. And I was getting involved and I'm like, ooh, we got that in common.
Yeah, I feel like this is so interesting, especially when we start to explore NFT, that's something like tokenized blockchain. That's the people, the traditional fine art industry. They start to feel that they have to do it, so they have to the technology, even they hate it.
I know. Yeah. So that's given us a real, inroad. Like it's the coattail. We just hang on to the NFTs, and there's digital art, but. Conversely, you're dealing with a lot of people in that space for the wrong reasons. I'm getting ready to give a talk to a group of Florida artists, a Zoom presentation on digital art and NFTs. And the heart of my NFT talk is caution, don't jump in, because I just did an NFT project with somebody a few months ago. Sketcha Friend. Sketcha was the name of the artist. He just had 52 Ethereum stolen out of his wallet. 52 Ethereum and all our tokens. So the art I did with him is in somebody else's wallet. So, I mean, there's a dangerous landscape and people. But
is that on Foundation app or OpenSea?
No, this was it was OpenSea, I believe. Yes, OpenSea, totally.
Yeah, I also on Foundation, but the way Foundation works, it's more complicated when you mandate and lease in for sale. And there's a lot of upfront, you have to pay for the gas fee, pay for the maintenance.
Yes.
But the thing is, the way OpenSea handle with the NFTs is actually easy.
It's easy, but it's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So this is tricky that I always want to educate. And by the way, this is always not financial advice, legal advice. This is our artist shakes. I tell all the artists, you have to have a knowledge about blockchain, about crypto wallet. If you it's even not these days it's so easy to upload and it's just another word upload. But the thing is, you have to understand and also understand the risk and protect yourself. You don't want people steal your IP, steal all your work, or steal all the earning from you. Try really hard to educate people.
That's what I'm going to be doing. And I mean, I'm going to talk about Texpressionism, which is going to be positive, and I'll talk about digital art. And I'm showing a whole sequence of stills and then moving art and then some augmented reality that I've done, which I should show you, which is pretty cool.
What type of AR mobile app you use for AR?
I have been using the Adobe, what is it? The Adobe Cloud, but they have one called Aero, AERO. And then that works perfectly with, it goes right into Photoshop or Illustrator. So I've used that. And then I've been using Blender, working with 3D, and just there's so much to learn and it's fun. Are you interested in seeing a quick shot of augmented reality?
Yeah.
You see that? Wow. Okay, so that's a bit of augmented reality 3D, but let me show you the augmented reality that I did these owls. This is a sample. That's just one little, aren't they funny?
Wow.
And I floated them in space. And then I took, this is the only one I seem to be able to.
What is any future plan for this year?
My future plan.
I mean, not future. I mean, this year. Are you going to have more shows, more online or physical exhibition somewhere?
Yeah, I'm working on that, on some collaborations with some local artists in Sarasota. I just got done with an exhibition in January or December, actually it was. It was a month long in Sarasota with this other artist. And she does digital and mixed media. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to do it again, do it in a different way. And so it's a very competitive environment where I am. Woo, lots of artists, lots of art galleries, and a lot of artists that want to get into art galleries. Sarasota, near Tampa. We're south of Tampa, which is a big artsy area. And of course, New York City, yes.
In Florida, okay.
Yes, Florida. Yes, New York City, of course. But for our little spot, our little town, it's very saturated with artists. And so I like to exhibit in some of the local art centers. I've been creating my own virtual exhibits because that's a lot more affordable and it's easy to get my art out and people can purchase that way. And then I've been doing NFTs and different NFT projects. And I am asked, though, all the time to hop on this NFT project or make this NFT for this person or company, and I'm just not comfortable.
Yeah, you want to show more about the ongoing project or some hour you?
Oh, let's see what I'm. Let me think. You can cut this out. That's what collaborations. Okay, something I've done, and I want to do more. This is with a freshman in high school. She gave me this, and I created that using a combination of manual and AI.
Oh, wow. So this is like a collaborative work. What AI tools do you use?
Okay, one that I love, for my fractal rendering is J Wildfire, because I do a lot of fractals. And then I use a wonderful but very complex program called Studio Artist. That's one of several. I'd say I spend most of my time in the Adobe Cloud. I'm getting into AI processing, to be able to code. So I use Blender. But AI I'll use my iPad and so many different programs. Sometimes I will actually search on the web and try to find something I can use. I'm always entering different shows, and I just haven't found my permanent home yet. Doing a lot of book talks and getting my book out and my art story as a means of encouragement and sharing my art at the same time. So I really appreciate the opportunity.
Do you do commission or it just all like you just work for your own idea?
No, I have done commissions before. People, it's a matter of trying to understand my art, So I will, for purchasing, I ask people. Thank you. This one I actually have hanging up in right outside. But yeah, so I've got so much art and only a sample of it is represented through the website. So I ask people, tell me what you like, what style, and let's work with that, or give me an idea. I'm always open to commission. That one I have on a dress and a top. And that's such a fun piece. It's called Entropy. And it's, thousands of primitive shapes. That's the way I love. So that's an AI piece where Thank
you for sharing, and thank you for talk to our audience and share these really extraordinary. The last thing I like to know, where can we buy your book?
All right, thank you. So I have a website for that.
Okay, so you just directly buy from
to my and then
work. Okay.
Yeah, right from the website, and then there's Amazon has it quick, easy, but you can get it through other options.
And it's a print out book. Is it printed? Okay.
Yeah, printed, and it's half done very well, but it's half my story in words, and then you start to get into my art. So it's an art book and a memoir. It's yeah, very proud of it.
Thank you for listening. You're listening to Artbit. I'm Giovanna. If you'd like to be featured, if you're an artist or a startup founder, you can contact me. My Twitter and Instagram handle is Giovanna Sun, Giovanna, last name Sun, S-U-N. You also can email me. You can find my contact in my description.